my things into a shopping bag and decided to quit. But Lord knows that I don't wanna be lonely tonight.
Oh, soul sound.
I don't wanna be lonely tonight. I said I don't wanna be lonely tonight. But I would rather to be lonely than to live a dirty life. Listen, darling, now who's gonna hold and squeeze me tight? Now that she's gone out of my life, who's gonna make me feel the way she used to do? Yeah, now that my love is overdue. Listen, darling, now who's gonna hold and squeeze me tight? Now that she's gone out of my life, who's gonna make me feel the way she used to do? Yeah, now that my love is overdue. Now that my love is overdue, I'm all alone in the wilderness, searching to find some peace and rest. Although she wasn't the best girl, but she brought happiness into my world. And now I'm a prisoner of loneliness. Said I'm a prisoner of loneliness. That's what I am. Now whose voice is gonna say goodnight? Now that she's gone out of my sight, who's gonna tell me lies and let me think they're true? Yeah, now that my love is overdue. Now that my love is overdue, can you see right now? And I don't know just what to do, yeah.
You are such an old soul.
Oh, I never let you go. No way. I could never stop loving you. So many
Caribbean vibes.
stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Caribbean vibes. Yeah.
You are listening into Caribbean Vibes Radio Network. Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, KVRN, is an independently owned and operated online radio station, proudly broadcasting 24 hours per day, 365 days a year from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, USA. The views and opinions expressed by host, guests, and contributors on KVRN are strictly for informational and entertainment purposes only and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our affiliated stations, including Fit FM 96.7, Linkage Radio, and NRP Media JA. We provide content that covers a wide range of topics, including, but not limited to, politics, current affairs, and relationship issues under our guiding mantra, covering the globe like no one else can. KVRN also streams content on YouTube under the name KVR Network. For questions, comments, or further information, please feel free to contact us at email at CaribbeanVibesRadio@gmail.com. That is Caribbean with a K. That is KARIBBEANVIBEZ radio@gmail.com, or mail at P.O. Box 42, Centerville, Massachusetts 02632 USA. Thank you for tuning in and supporting Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, your global connection for vibrant, thought-provoking content.
Stay away. I just positive songs I play. Champion vibes, they cannot play like you. They wanna play like you, that's true. Champion vibes, they wanna play like you. Cannot play like you.
Yeah, Caribbean Vibes up play. Caribbean Vibes up play. Yeah. Check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. On the door. Yeah, there again now. There in the house. Yeah, it is another Thursday. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. First of all, I must apologize for my tardiness. I'm a little bit late, and even though I am I'm a habitual late person, let me explain something about me, ladies and gentlemen. I am not one of those persons who will never be late for anything. I am the kind of person who is, how do I phrase it now? I am not really too late, but I am not really early either. I am that kind of a guy. So I will be, like for work, I'm not proud of it. I'm not boasting about it. I'm just telling you. It just happened, right? It just happened that for work, I am the guy who is, I'm supposed to be at work at 8, but for some strange reason, I just can't make it at 8. But I am not going to be 15 minutes late. You know what I mean? I am not the guy who is going to be, because I am going to be just about 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes late. You know what I mean? That's me. I am always like, I can't understand it. I can't figure it out. I am always like, a few minutes, just a few minutes, not a half an hour, not an hour. It was just a few minutes late. So, I'll never be, if I'm a half an hour late, I am like, I'm all over the place. That's to me is way too much. 15 minutes, way too much. But I'm not the guy who is going to be scheduled for work at 8 and be there at 7:45. No, I'm not going to be there at 7:45. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I'm going to be there at just about 8 o'clock, or 5 minutes after 8, or 2 minutes after 8, or something like that. I mean, I'll make it up in the evening when I'm supposed to leave. I'll make up my time, so I'm not stealing any time. You know what I mean? So, but I am just not going to be there at 8 o'clock on the... So, anyway, you know me, though. Those of you watching this program, and those of you listening to me, you know me. You know that I am normally on time for this program. Yeah, so this is an exception. I'm normally right off the bat on time for this program. So whenever you don't see me start at the time that we're supposed to start, you know that it's unavoidable. So this evening, I was a little bit out of the starting block, late, as I wasn't on the money this evening at all. So I do apologize. But oh no, I'm here. So I had to get that out of the system, So, but and spill in the in the moment I'm spilling the secret too. Don't tell my boss here. Don't tell my boss that me say, me always late. Because watch this. If you think it's lie, if work is supposed to start at 7 o'clock, for some strange reason, something is going to hold up my time. I'm not doing it deliberately, It's like a curse. I'm not doing it deliberately. Something is going to hold up my time. That I am not there at 7. And if it's supposed to start, if we are decide that, okay, we're going to start a little bit later tomorrow at 8. For some strange reason, the same thing, the same ghost is coming and taunting me and haunting me that I am there. And if we're supposed to start at 10, believe it or not, that same ghost is there to haunt me, to make sure that I am it doesn't matter how hard I try. It doesn't matter how I do everything and prepare everything overnight and lay out the clothes and I don't know. Something by the end of that night into the morning. And if I get out of the house early, the traffic is going to be bad. I'm telling you. Or I am ready to go through the door. I can't find the keys. And then I have to spend another 5-10 minutes looking for the keys. Or I'm ready. I can't find my glasses. I'm telling you. There is always something to keep me from getting to work on top of right on the dot. You know what I mean? But I'm just not going to get there at 15 minutes before. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to get there. I see some people, work is supposed to start at 8 and they're there at 7:30. For the what? Why is work starting? Let's have the conversation. Why is work supposed to start at 8 and you're there at 7:30? Tell me. I would like somebody to break it down like I'm a child, I'm a baby. Explain to me why it is that your work is supposed to start at 8 and you're there at 7:25, at 7:15. You don't have the yard, you don't have nothing to do. You don't have breakfast for make and bed for make up and, excuse me there. I just knock over the mic. You don't have something for do it, you know what I mean? The bed for sweep out and under the bed for clear out a little bit and all that. You don't have something for do. How is it that you're supposed to be at your work at 8? And you find time to get up and reach your work? Gone are the people in place. Can sit down from 7:15. No, man. Something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. But anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about this evening. We have a lot to talk about, and as some people would say, lots to say, and we have limited time. Come on, Chris, get a hold of yourself. Stop mashing down the place. We have a lot to say, but we have a limited amount of time. So let's get to it now. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening again. Let me introduce myself properly. My name is Chris Wilby. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Wilby, and this is the Hot Topics. The Hot Topics is on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network every Thursday, right about this time. Yeah, every Thursday. And we try to dive into the topics that people are talking about. But one of the things that we do is that we try to set the record straight, because there's a whole lot of noise out there, and we want to set the record straight. So let's dive into it. This is the Hot Topics. All right, so that's the intro music, so it sound good, not true? Yeah. Intro music, nah, it not sound too bad. It not sound too bad, but I like it, because it has a little thing feed, like a thing I go and feed. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, as you see the topic, the main topic we're going to be talking about this evening is the decorum in politics. Decorum in politics. There's a lot going on. There is a lot that's going on in politics. And I don't understand if some people right now are... We're talking about Jamaican politics. If they're in politics to serve the people, or they are in politics just to make a name for themselves, just to be in the limelight all the time, be in the spotlight all the time. There was once a time when politicians always get a bad rap. Let's be frank. But a lot of the politicians of the past, maybe because they did not have social media, they would go to parliament and they would try to pass laws and do the best that they can. But these days, I noticed that you have people who are just going into parliament to be disruptors. And while the disruption may have its place, is there a balancing act? Is there a line that if you cross that line, then you may become irrelevant? And maybe you guys who have been following the politics would have known right off the bat what I'm talking about, There are some incidents that's been sparking debate, national dialogue, as some people would say. And you have some people who, they love the limelight. And I'm talking about politicians. They love the limelight. And I'm going to come back to that particular topic, and I'm gonna name check some people as I've been doing. But before we go there, I want to pick up on something. Do you guys remember some time ago, not so long ago, I called out some labor rights on this program because the Prime Minister of Jamaica, well, not the Prime Minister, it was going around on social media that Portia Simpson Miller, the new hospital that is being built in Western Jamaica, was going to be named in the honor of Portia Simpson Miller. And there are some labor rights who were cussing. I remember one labor right said something to the effect of they can name the Bellevue Hospital after her. You know, that was one comment. They also made some very disgusting remarks. And I came to Mama P's defense. And I said, if they are considering naming the hospital after her, it would be fitting. Mama P, as you recall, I said on this program that Mama P, Portia Simpson Miller, the first female Prime Minister of Jamaica, first female Prime Minister to lead any political party in Jamaica, first female to lead any political party in Jamaica, and she did well. She dedicated her entire life to help to build Jamaica, and she was successful in cracking that code and entering into the older boys club. So we have to. Why is this thing making so much noise here? Let me see if I can turn this thing off here, this notification off here. But yeah, so I was saying to a lot of my listeners, you know, and on ear and off ear, I had this debate that, hey, listen, man, it is fitting. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness answered the call. And he went ahead and is now going to name the hospital after Portia Simpson Miller. So I totally agree with the sentiments, and I support the call. I support it very, very much. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, sometimes we have to put partisan politics aside and do the right thing. And a lot of people may not agree with me for saying this, but I do believe that Portia Simpson Miller, her name deserved to be not only on the hospital, but on many more buildings in Jamaica. And so, without further ado, I'm going to play a clip from the Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss some things, ladies and gentlemen. Just stand by for me, and we're in the middle of the hot topics. In the meantime, let me just big up some people, no? China Chin Mealy, big up yourself. What a guan. Always everything in your neck of the woods. Sister Patricia, Sister Pat, why you acting like that? Yeah, Sister Pat, what you know? So, all right, let's get to the Prime Minister talking, and then we'll come back. Let me get some volume here.
And there was never any other intention. I see some campaign going on all over the place. We are a country that everyone likes to campaign about something. That's fine. Not arguing about that. But governments can't always say everything up front all at once. You have to wait until appropriate timing and so forth. So sometimes our timing may not coincide with other timelines and ambitions and issues. So whatever it is, it was always the intent, and I had expressed that directly to the family, and internally we had also discussed it. And I may even have said it in passing in interviews, which probably was not picked up at the time, that the hospital should be named. It is only the right thing to do. It's appropriate that it should be named in her honor, and it will be done. We were just waiting until the hospital was finished and ready, which would have been the appropriate time to say that, but it is what it is. It may have also escaped the media and other commentators that there was such a place as the Portia Simpson Miller Square in 3 Miles. And when I became Prime Minister, Mama P was my mother. She usually called me her son. And then I don't know what happened. She disowned me. But we made up. We made up afterwards. So she's always in my heart, and we're always good friends. My mother actually worked in the ministry when she was minister for many years, and they got along very well. My mother always talks about her, and she always talks about my mother. So we have some connections there. But anyway, when we were doing the road program, the members of her constituency, which adjoins my constituency, that it was never the intention to eliminate Portia Simpson Miller Square. And so when we put up the overpasses, the intention was to rename those overpasses in her honor. We actually started some work to fix up underneath the overpasses and to paint it to make it look appropriate. We will continue that, and at the right time, we will rename that entire area, including the overpass and the underpass. We're trying to figure out if it should be the Portia Simpson Miller overpasses, or we haven't found the right nomenclature, but we will find the right and appropriate way to name it. So, this is about legacy. And in a country like Jamaica, where our democracy is so robust and everything is contested, you want your legacy to be cemented, literally. You want your legacy to be in concrete, so it's not challenged, and it can't be just toppled easily, even by powerful thoughts that may come afterwards, ideas and so forth. So we take this seriously, and I want to commend Minister Grain. She has been on a campaign of putting up statues and memorials and all kinds of things, and naming important iconic structures in honor of great Jamaicans. Now, let me be clear. The legacy of Michael Manley and the NHD is not in challenge. So for those who interpret my comments in that way, please be at ease. But I find that in our general discussions about the history of Jamaica, we are not complete. We take elements of it that suit either our political outlook or our comfort. And the point of facts are these. And it is related to this issue because it's a general philosophy that workers' rights must be protected. And based on that philosophy, as work became more structured, more organized, more urbanized, and more corporatized, especially coming to the end of the Industrial Revolution, workers had a literal limited lifespan, in that they would work for 20, 30 years maybe, and then after that they can't work again. They're out of the labor force because there are people coming up wanting jobs. And then what do? There's no pension, there's no way for you to survive. So the notion of pensions started. I believe the leader of the opposition pointed out that in 1911, it started with 1908, then 1911, the Insurance Act was put in, the Social Insurance Act. And that was a good idea. And it was replicated normally around the Commonwealth, as you pointed out, but it spread. It's an idea that spread, that workers would contribute to a pension centrally managed by the state, and employers would contribute as well. And that system was established in Jamaica with the formation of the National Insurance Act. Now, as Minister Grange pointed out, it was heavily fought. It just reminds me of NARA. Heavily fought. And in fact, it was called SIN. The third National Insurance Scheme had called it SIN. And look at us today. It's part of that is what makes the Jamaican democracy strong. Don't believe any foolishness you hear people writing. Jamaica's democracy is strong because it was robustly contested. And that model inspired other models where workers' contribution would be used. So, for example, the idea of a social pension became the basis for the idea of socially financing mortgages. That is where the funding for a mortgage pool would come from.
Right, so that is Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness speaking recently at an opening and dedication of a building in the honor of Portia Simpson Miller. And there will be lots and lots of buildings and roads and whatever named after Portia Simpson Miller, and rightfully so. Yeah, rightfully so. So, yeah, I want to say congratulations to Mrs. Miller, for the work that she did during her time. And we all know that at the moment she is out of commission, so to speak, and I don't believe that we will see her again in public life. Yeah, because her husband has gone on record to say that she is suffering from dementia, and they are protecting her and protecting her image. So she's not out in the public's domain anymore, right? So that's Portia Simpson Miller. All right, so that is one thing that we wanted to talk about. I'm going to shift the gears just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to talk about the decorum in politics. Politics is a very, very, they say it's a contact sport, meaning that it can be very brutal, and it is not for the faint of heart. But even though politics, as we know, is not for the faint of heart, and it is not for people who are weak, but some of the things that has been said recently, and some of the things that what we are witnessing, we need to take a step back. we need to take a step back. We honestly need to take a step back because it is not. It don't look good. Let me just put it that way. It doesn't look good and it doesn't smell good. It just doesn't. And ladies and gentlemen, recently Nikisha Burchell made a remark, and I'm now hearing that she's doubling down because for whatever reason, I think that bad behavior is I don't know. I don't know if it is popular or it is selling, you know. And as long as people are in your corner, some people believe that they must not apologize. Just like Donald Trump. Donald Trump, as long as he's got his people in his corner, he's never going to apologize for anything. He'll say and do anything, and he won't apologize. And I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that Nikisha Burchell has every right to be a strong and vocal political representative. But there's a clear difference between robust political debate and personal attacks that lower the standard of public discourse. When Nikisha Burchell goes into Parliament, and because she understands the English language very well, she called the Speaker of the House a yammed. And then she said she was just asking a question about yam head. We all know the term in Jamaica when they call somebody a yam head, what it means. So she went to Parliament. From the moment she entered Parliament, she's been after the Speaker of the House. It is on record that the moment she's always somehow entangled with the Speaker of the House. There is a borderline obsession with the Speaker of the House, Julia told us. She, at one point, she was on a podcast, and somebody asked her a question about rumors that, what kind of a rumor or something of the sort that she's most annoyed by. And she came out and said, oh, that she's dating the Prime Minister. Now, it shocked the entire world. I am not even going to say the nation, the entire world, because that was the first time that her name was being called on the Prime Minister. She was tagging herself onto the Prime Minister. We never heard it before. But Nikisha Burchell uttered that nonsense that her name was being called on the Prime Minister, that she's dating the Prime. No, the Prime Minister is a married man. Why would you come out there and say such a thing? And then on top of that, you keep aggravating the Speaker of the House. It don't look good. It don't sound good. To some people, it may even seem as if you are jealous, Nikisha Burchell, of the Prime Minister, of the Prime Minister's wife, because somehow you're infatuated with the Prime Minister. I am going there because this nonsense needs to stop. If you go to Parliament as a young member of Parliament, you need to carry yourself. I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy behind a microphone, so I can say whatever I want to say. Yeah? You need to carry yourself with some amount of decorum. And according to Nikisha Burchell, she has the right to speak and ask questions. But I'm saying to you that there is a clear difference between robust political debate and personal attacks that lower the standard of public discourse. Of course, you can be loud and boisterous if you want to. If you're talking about the people of your constituency who need water, the people of your constituency who need road, or even asking questions about the Melissa relief recovery and all of that, it comes under your portfolio. But when you make comments, when comments move away from policy disagreements and into disparaging remarks aimed at the wife of the Prime Minister and Speaker of the House, it crosses a line that many Jamaicans believe should not be crossed in parliamentary politics. And I see some members of parliament calling out Nikisha Burchell. And she's now attacking those members for calling her out. I kid you not. So, this young lady just got to parliament just a few months ago. New member of parliament. And she's acting as if she owned the place. You have members who've been there for a long time, seasoned members, who are saying to her, look, calm down, relax yourself. And instead of hearing from those members, she's now attacking those members. You can't make this thing up. So as far as I see, Nikisha Burchell is acting as a little Miss Know-It-All. And she feels as if she's untouchable for whatever reason, or whoever planted that seed in her head. I did not want to sound as if I wanted to attack Miss Burchell, but this thing is getting out of hand right now. And somebody need to say it. Miss Burchell need to slow her roll down a little bit. She need to slow down a little bit as a new member of parliament. She is still building her public identity and political credibility. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners and viewers, this stage should not be, it should be about demonstrating competence, discipline, and a genuine commitment to the people of South St. James, the people who sent her there. That's what it should be about. Instead, controversy and headline-grabbing moments risk overshadowing the substantive work constituents elected her to do. This constant need to go in front of a camera and to draw attention to herself, it need to stop. Now there's also the broader question of political maturity. Because being outspoken and disruptive can sometimes energize your supporters and bring attention to issues, which I think Miss Burchell is trying to do. But there is a danger when controversy becomes the strategy itself. Because politics is built solely around attention seeking, or politics that is built solely around attention seeking can quickly become unsustainable, because eventually the public begins asking questions. If you are constantly just grabbing attention to yourself and you're not accomplishing anything, sooner or later the public is going to start to ask questions about where are the results, and where is the leadership, and where is the substance. This yap and controversy after controversy, it may get you a lot of viewers, but how far is it going to get you? Do you want to just remain the member of parliament for your constituency, South St. James, or do you want to elevate? Because you have the ability. You are absolutely a brilliant woman. We have all heard you speak. We have seen you in parliament. We know that you are not a Yamid, as you have called the Speaker of the House, and said you haven't. Many observers may now be wondering whether the remarks were about advancing meaningful national debate or simply creating another viral political moment. I have my suspicion about that. That is an important distinction. Whether or not you wanted to just grab the attention. Because all of us know that leadership requires judgment. It requires restraint and knowing when rhetoric becomes counterproductive. And even though Nikisha, she's now saying that she's not going to apologize. But I would still think that an apology is in order, because an apology is not a sign of weakness, In fact, it could be demonstrated, it could demonstrate maturity and respect for the office you now hold. And even though you have your supporters, Nikisha, who are going to constantly back you until you do not apologize, because I've seen it, social media. Most Jamaicans expect better. They expect spirited politics. We are used to it. That's what we're a part of it. I am a political junkie, at least I was. I'm a recovering political junkie. So I understand the need for spirited debates in politics. But most Jamaicans also expect dignity and decorum from their elected officials. Yes, we do. We don't like the cas. We don't like the ray. Them days are done. And if Miss Burchill truly wants to establish herself as a serious long-term political figure, focusing on effective representation, community development, and political advocacy, I would encourage her to think twice about how she is approaching her political career. Because the danger for her and any young politician is believing that constant disruption automatically translates into leadership. Because sometimes it does the opposite. If the public begins to see someone as reckless, overly combative, or attention driven, it can backfire politically and damage both personal credibility and public trust. So I'd advise Miss Nikisha, she won't take my advice because she might think that I am just a little guy who is me. But I'd advise her to think. Think about the actions that she's taking. Because it is, somebody say, it no look good. And I'm going to play a clip, you see, of Nikisha Burchell in her own words. I'm going to play back the clip for you because she's been in the news, you know. She's been in the news. And she's not going away. And as long as she's in the news and she's not going away, then unfortunately, we're going to have to be talking about her. I'm going to just go back over. I'm going to play the clip for you of Miss Burchell making the disparaging remark, even though it has been in the news for quite a few weeks now. I played it for you because I want you to hear the young lady in her own voice. And before I go there, I now see, before Nikisha was a thing, there was Mama P. Mama P, a lot of Laborites did not like her. And I am not going to tell you that Mama P was my favorite politician. However, there are certain things that you don't do. You do not direct personal attacks and personal insults at the Prime Minister or somebody who is in certain authority, especially the women. You don't want to direct, you don't call them out of their names. You don't describe them a certain way. And I notice a lot of Jamaicans used to do that to Mama P. I remember one particular picture of them putting her head onto the body of, a black, you know the animal in Jamaica, the one with the wings, the black, I'm not going to call it yet. And I found it very distasteful and very disgusting. And the picture was circulating on social media. And everybody, a lot of Laborites were circulating it. And I found it very disgusting. Now, the same thing is happening to Nikisha Burchell, where there's a picture of her face onto a pig, and Mark Golding is riding the pig. And I also find that very distasteful and very disgusting. We do not need to get so personal with the politics. We do not need to get so personal. We can disagree without being so disagreeable. Well, for some strange reason, I don't know if it's the illiteracy or somebody would have said Jamaican people just dark and fool. Why we can't have a debate without getting personal. And I think Miss Burchell, she went personal.
An enlightened speaker in my mind could have looked at it to say, here's a culture spokesperson, a first-time MP, speaking a few words in patois. Let me see where she go. The Speaker of the House that we have is very biased, very partisan, and
The Speaker of the House, according to Nikisha Burchell, is very biased and very partisan. It goes without saying the Speaker of the House is a member from the governing party. They're going to be partisan. It has always been they've always been partisan. The Speaker of the House has always been partisan. There's never been an independent Speaker of the House. That's the rules.
In her own words, she said it on an interview recently, that she's learning to be fair. So I can't really play well with someone who is just at their ripe age now, just learning to be fair. I just think the speaker she likes to be in control.
The Speaker, I mean, the Speaker likes to be in control. Of course she's going to be in control. She is the Speaker of the House. That is her duty. That is her job. To be in control of the House of Representatives. So, Nikisha Burchell has a problem with the Speaker of the House being in control of the House, which is literally a part of her job description. She is the one who controls the House of Representatives. It has always been this way. Why is she attacking Juliet Holness? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is interesting that Nikisha, she is on this tour talking about the Prime Minister's wife, the Speaker of the House, disparaging her for being in control, while she was the one who broke the rule in the first place. Nikisha was the one who broke the rules. In her own words, she is saying, oh, the Speaker could have done this or this. She could have allowed me. So she's admitting that she broke the rule. But she's now also saying that the Speaker could have allowed her to break the rule. And because the Speaker never allowed her to break the rule, then it's the Speaker who has a problem and wants to be in control. And she goes a little bit further.
And I mean, that kind of control that perhaps you can get away with in a marriage if you want to control your husband, for example.
That's crazy.
You hear that? That kind of a control. For example, you can get away. So she's subtly digging at the Prime Minister's wife. She's digging. She's not directly you see what she did there? So now she can say, oh, I never said, I was using an example. I wasn't directing it to the Speaker. I'm not saying that. Oh, I'm not saying that she is controlling her husband. I'm just saying that her attitude, her behavior is one of somebody who controls their husband.
Your husband, for example.
That's crazy.
You can't control. You want to control your husband, for example. Perhaps you can get away with in a marriage if you want to control your husband, for example.
That's crazy.
You can't control grown people sent to Parliament to represent their people.
You can't control grown people sent to Parliament to represent their people. Yes, you can. That is the role of the Speaker. You can't just get up and say and do anything in the House of... Yes, you can, Nikisha. She can and she will. She is there to make sure that the House runs orderly. Because without order, there is going to be chaos. And Juliet Holness, the Speaker of the House, is the one in control. So you have a problem with the person who is supposed to be running the House being in control of the house. Make it make sense.
There is disorder and disrespect, but then there's also control. Because
That's a bag of word salad right there. There is disorder and disrespect, and then there is control. What the heck does that even mean?
it's not a school mistress, not a school mom with children in a basic school.
But these standing orders give her the right. And you know what she's not saying? That Juliet Holness was wrong for that she had no authority. She's just complaining that she's behaving as a school and using some analogies. She's not. Juliet Holness went directly for the standing order that prohibits every time that Juliet Holness rules on anything, and you guys can come back and correct me, she draws for the standing order, and she said, nope, standing order XYZ says you can't do that. So what she is doing, you can say that she's rigid, and she is not allowing anything outside of the standing order into the house. And how are you supposed to blame her? Lobby for change for the standing order. But as long as the standing order is in place, how are you going to debate that she's wrong? And I see her followers are saying, oh, don't apologize. Calling out and pushing her up, lifting her up, because they see her. Some of them see her as a fighter. Those are not fight. That's just disrespectful behavior. There's nothing there. Why is Nikisha Burchill? And I'm going to give you more, because this thing need to stop. There is the lack of decorum. And it is very, very sad that this is coming from a woman trying to tear down another woman. It's as if she came to Parliament with one thing in mind. And that one thing is to attack Juliet Holness. Because they tried it. They did it throughout the campaign. And I don't know if it worked. Well, obviously it didn't work. And here is Bertis Bell interviewing Nikisha Burchill. And you can take... listen, I'm not making this thing up, that something is off here with Miss Burchill. I'm not making this up. I'm not picking on her. I'm picking apart her argument, her reasoning, her rationale. I'm picking it apart. Because here is Bertis Bell interviewing her. And I want you to listen to her own words.
You knew better. And she said it 2 times. She said she knows better. You knew better.
I knew better than to not represent my culture, for the people of Jamaica to not hear their language, to hear themselves in Parliament. I don't think.
I was asked a question about Dr. Brown Burke's lifting the mace.
Let me stop that there. She knew better. That's what Juliet Holness said during the time when she got up and started this whole nonsense of talking the patois. And I want you to listen to this entire clip. She knew better. And then she, I don't. Because I knew better than to speak patois in Parliament. No, I don't. I knew to represent my people. So if you're advocating for patois to be spoken in Parliament, why are you talking the Queen's English on this program? Just go out there and chat patois.
And I said in response that if you don't have rules and order, there will be chaos.
Yes.
I accept that some of those rules probably shouldn't be there, but they are there. So why don't you follow the rules that are there, and then when the time comes, if possible, change them? But why the rules are there, why don't you follow them?
So when is the time? And when
Well, you should tell me that when the time is.
Exactly, which is why I raised that mirror for parliamentarians, for legislators, to look at themselves. Is this how you want to represent your parliament and your people in 2026? That was me disrupting it. That was me spurring the...
That was me disrupting it. Nikisha, you are telling on yourself. That was me disrupting it. All right, let's go. Let's get to more, ladies and gentlemen. That was me disrupting. So she's admitting that she disrupted the parliament.
Conversation to say it's time for change. And clearly Parliament wasn't ready for that conversation. But you know who's ready for it? The diaspora.
The diaspora is ready for what kind of conversation?
Who's ready for it? Jamaica is ready for that conversation.
What conversation?
And they're having the conversation. I get the controversy, but controversy is good. That is...
Controversy is good. You see what I talk about? Me not tell no lie, Panari, no. Me not tell no lie, Panari. You see what I talk about? She... Listen, you can't say one thing, that Chris will be loving chat, but me not tell lie for people, Me analyze, scrutinize. Yeah. She said she's come there to disrupt, and
is how culture evolves. I want Jamaicans, I want our children to be able to rigorously learn and speak the English language, but I want them to intelligently navigate the Jamaican language. I want them to own it, because language is...
Tell me now. I'm going to open the phone line. I don't even know if the phone line working right now, because I never even tested before I come in if everything's set up. But yeah, you can try. Unfortunately, I never get a chance to check it still, but yeah, you can try and let me know if it's working. 508 762 7621 508 762 7621, the WhatsApp line. No, want to tell me if me I tell her like on this lady, I know, because as she say, and let me play about this part here.
Jamaican language. I want them to own it, because language is...
You want them to own it. Again, something them where she attack, I don't really understand it, I want somebody to explain it out to me, because I don't know which Jamaican we don't own them patois, I don't know. Because every Jamaican we born in Jamaica, we know how to talk patois. And we own it. We know. So what I say? What the them say? Where she depend? And our followers them behind her chat the nonsense. Everyone we were born and grew in Jamaica. We know patois and we talk patois. But some of we can't talk the English properly. And them say English is the official language. So until Miss Nikisha, yeah? Until Miss Nikisha talk to the people them about
confidence.
Learning the English language properly. Because if the English language, which they say is the official language, half of Jamaica cannot master the official language. So if you're going to have a conversation about abandoning the English language and making patois the official language, that is an argument that we can have a debate about. But when you come and chatting nonsense about people mastering the patois, what you really say, it's a nonsensical argument, because every Jamaican I know how to master patois. And that we born and grew a chat. We know it, but we don't know the English language. Most of us don't know the English language. We cannot communicate effectively in the English language. hang on a second there, my brother. Hang on a second there. Give me 1 second there. Let me just seem as if this is not connected to the phone. Just give me 1 minute there, my brother. Let me just set this up for you. Yeah, man, no problem. Yeah, so a lot of us, we're born and we grow, and we're used to the patois. We can talk the patois, but we can't master the English language. So if we are ready for an argument about whether or not we are going to make the patois the official Jamaican language, we can work with that and we can debate that. But when you're talking now, say, why you just want people to get up in the middle of Parliament and just start talk patois. And I'm going to show you how disingenuous she is. Let me continue with this clip here. Let me show you how disingenuous she is.
I want our children to confidently speak them patois in a parliament, out of parliament, in official, in formal spaces, in informal spaces. For Read Across Jamaica Day last week, I went to a couple schools in my constituency. I didn't bring an English book about Spider-Man, Superman. I brought Jamaica Labrish by Louise Bennett. I brought Anansi Stories by Louise Bennett. And I was surprised a lot of the kids, they don't know who is Brother Tukuma. They don't know who is Big Boy. They don't know who is Anansi.
But Brother Tukuma is not a real character. Big Boy is not a real character. So, all of them are Nancy's story and make up stories. So, what are you talking about? Anyway.
We're losing it, and if we don't disrupt it, jolt society, then we're going to stay the same.
I was going to say I would suspect, I don't know. But I've seen Parliament, and you're a part of the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
If a member of the government did something that's wrong in Parliament, I suspect the opposition will jump on board and say, hold on, you did something wrong.
Well, that's up for debate.
Hold on. The rules of Parliament say you must speak standard English. That's not up for debate. That's the Standing Order 6,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, but we were in what is called a sectoral debate.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules of debate allow you to use literary devices. This was a disruptive communicative device where you use jargons, you use slangs, you use other languages. I was following the rules of English language itself, which gives you literary devices that you can use. I did not, however, challenge the speaker's authority. She made her decision. She had an option. She had an option to do what she did, which was quite predictable, or she could have risen to the moment.
She had an option to do what she did.
To say for our culture.
And listen to this one. I'm coming to you, my brother. Give me 1 minute there. Let me just finish this clip here.
For a spokesperson on culture to come into our house and to confidently speak our language, I could allow 2 sentences because that's what she could have done as an enlightened leader. But
was your presentation written entirely in patois?
Absolutely not. My first 2 sentences were written in patois, again for the shock value to get the conversations going.
That is it. She said when Bertis Bell asked her the question, was your entire presentation in patois? She said, absolutely not. Just her first 2 sentences, because she wanted the shock value. She wanted to shock, because she knew she was going to get under the speaker's skin. And she knew she wanted the publicity, and she got what she wanted. Go ahead, my brother. Good afternoon. How you do?
Yes. I love the way how you analyze how she's disrespecting the speaker and disrespecting rules of conduct. And unfortunately, some of our leaders, instead of them sticking to the rules of what govern, the rules of Parliament, they emotionalize it again now with the name calling and to emotionalize the people that represent them, because people are triggered by emotionality instead of rules.
Mm-hmm.
And just as you pointing out that the speaker is sticking to rules of government, even if she disagrees with the rules, in her disrupting it, there's a procedure in her ideas of maybe changing the rules.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
If she's not going through the procedure. There's a procedure in changing the parliamentary order. You see, however, our constituents then now will follow her because people who are in leadership position, they tend to work on people's emotion more so to create chaos and to satisfy that trigger that they know that people will instantly respond to. So I love the way how you analyze the situation, and we have to have rules in the parliament, or else we, as you said, we will have chaos. Yes, my brethren, continue the great works.
All right, big up yourself, my brother. Respect. Yeah, I love how the caller analyzed and broke it down. You know, it. Let me figure this thing out. I'm getting a feedback in my ears. I don't know if you're hearing it, so I don't want to continue. Let me break for 1 second and let me see here. All right, so Prime Minister. Oh, it's the wrong microphone I turned up. All right, hold on. Which one am I one again? All right. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so let me just continue over here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's cracking here. All right, turn that down. See if we can get rid of that humming sound. Oh boy, all of a sudden this thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He hits back at the critics on the recent Hurricane Melissa general report. I'm going to play that for you.
They were in power once.
While I try to sort this out. Yeah. Before I go, Nikisha Burchell is very brilliant. She's very smart and she knows what she's doing. And that's what the Speaker of the House said. She knows the rule. She knows how to manipulate people, and that's what she does. She's manipulating the media, because what happened? You have a lot of people who are very sympathetic in media. I know this for a fact. I know a lot. I have spoken to a lot of the people. So I say this without fear or favor, that a lot of people in media supports the People's National Party. It's just a plain fact. So they will always give a sympathetic ear to these people. It is just a fact. I know some of them. I have spoken to some of them. I am friends with some of them. So I know this. So they will always give these people a platform, and they will always be sympathetic to them. And that is why Dr. Andrew Holness said that, hey, you have some people masquerading as civil society. But we know them. But, but that's another topic for another day.
The criticism was that we have got thief the money. Remember that? They spread that all around, including in international circles. So a man think it. The people who were making those criticisms, they were in power once, and that is what they did. So they think, well, what happened now? The Auditor General come out and say, well, the money is there, but they didn't spend it fast enough. Very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, please, you can take your seats. It is warm, and I will be speaking long. If there's one thing that Jamaica has perfected, it is the formality of ceremonies. Everything is ceremonial, and all the events have several speakers. And as I sat there, I was saying, the people whose names have been called, they must be tired to hear their names now. So I will just skip that part. Agree? No offense taken. I just simply say, friends, nice and decent people, good to see you all. How does that sound? Is that less formal? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that's fine. And nobody feels offended that I didn't call their name. Since the duty of the master of ceremonies to acknowledge all the people, right? So you don't have to come again and acknowledge everyone. Let's get the ceremony going. You see, as your prime minister, part of my job is to administrate, manage, push paper around, give instructions and so forth. But the part of my job that I enjoy more is to get into your minds to change how you see things. And one of the things that we have to change as a people is how efficiently we use time. Efficiency. Because we are a people that have been led to believe that if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And that's not how the world works anymore. Right? So I have to do these kinds of things. So bear with me just to get into your minds. All right? Now, Labor Day is an important, some people say it's a holiday, but it's not really a holiday. I saw the editorial cartoon this morning, which suggested that most people treat it as a holiday. But it is not, it's a public holiday, but it's not a holiday. It's a day where we work for the community. And we only do it, one day out of the year. So it really should be the day that every Jamaican takes the opportunity to give national service. But it is also Workers' Week, where we acknowledge our workers, the people who labor, place effort for production. It is also a time when we recognize our labor movement. Even before Jamaica had a political movement, Jamaica had a very strong labor movement, and we pay our respect to the labor movement. And this Labor Day bears a specific importance because it is the Labor Day after Hurricane Melissa. But in a few more days, it will also be the hurricane season. In a few more days, I'll be standing in another ceremony marking the beginning of the hurricane season. And at that time, I will give you my usual message, which is to get ready, be prepared, where I'll be saying to you, examine your property, the curtilage of your property, look around your community, see the things that are threats to your safety and the integrity of your house.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. All right, so yeah, I tried to get that humming sound. It was very, I don't know if you were hearing it, but I was hearing it in my ears, and it was a little bit annoying and off-putting. So I just had to throw in the Prime Minister right there. Prime Minister was filling in for me. All right, so yeah, we were talking about decorum in politics, right? And Miss Nikisha is in the spotlight, and she likes to be in the spotlight. She loves to grab the spotlight. And, me used to hear my mother one phrase say something about bird will fly too high. Yeah. So I don't know. Something about birds will fly too high, and you have to be careful, and especially when you go into a space where you have people were there before you for decades. You can't just run in and not wanting to listen to these people, because these people
they can teach you a thing or two. And for you to just dismiss them offhand like that, it can be to your detriment. And I suspect that, and I'm going there, I'm going there. Once again, if you want to participate, the number is 508 815. That's 508 762 7621. 508 762 7621. That's a WhatsApp line, 508 762 7621. The WhatsApp line, right? So if you want to participate, you can call me anytime, right? The phone line is now open. So, yeah, you have to learn, ladies and gentlemen, that people who were there before you, they can speak something of substance. They can teach you something. And Nikisha tend to not want, she doesn't want to hear what these people are saying. And as I was about to say, that I noticed that the People's National Party is silent on this issue. They're not, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the People's National Party is in agreement with what Nikisha Burchell is doing. And hear me out. And when I don't, everybody will listen to me and go agree with me. Even if you not say so, you go agree with me smartly. Nikisha Burchell is a first-time member of Parliament. Just reached here. I don't think that our waist reach out a sea yet. It's still in a Parliament. Yeah? Reach out a sea yet. That is how fresh she is in Parliament. Right? There are members who were there long before her. You have the leader of the opposition. And I'm quite sure, I would put my last dollar on it right now, that if the leader of the opposition did not like what she was saying and what she was doing, they would have drawn her in long time and say, hey, listen, cut it out. And should have to cut it out. Should have to cut it out. But in my opinion, they agree with it. They like it. She is now the de facto spokesperson for the People's National Party. And this is what is coming out of the People's National Party. So whether or not you believe that Nikisha Burchell is talking for the party is neither here nor there. Think about it. Nikisha Burchell could not speak for the party. She could not be talking these things and behaving the way she is doing if the party did not give her permission, give her blessing. Because even senior members of the party can't just go out here and talk and just say anything without the party blessing it. They would have drawn them in and say, listen, man, you can't do that. You're bringing the party into disrepute. But Nikisha is out there saying and doing these things willy-nilly. And it's almost every time that she goes on a podcast. Why is she going on podcasts anyway? Why is she on these podcasts every chance she get? She come out of Parliament, and the minute she come out of Parliament, there's a mic. She walks with her own microphone and her own camera crew. I kid you not. She walks with her own camera crew and her own microphone wherever she goes. You don't tell me that this is a person who's obsessed with the media. She should probably be a media personality, not a politician. And I think that the People's National Party, there's also another member of parliament who is in the news. We're talking about the decorum in politics, you know. And we're talking about how it is going down in the gutter. When I see the Jamaica Labour Party doing it, I'm going to come back here and drag them to it. So nobody think say, if me say the Jamaica Labour Party member of parliament or somebody behaving badly, right now me not see them. And if somebody see them, can send a tape to me or send something to me for me if you talk about, the email address is caribbeanvibesradio@gmail.com. That's Caribbean with a K, caribbeanvibesradio@gmail.com. If you see something that you believe that I need to talk about, send it to me. As I will talk about it. I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't owe no GLP, no PNP, nobody nothing. That's why I can talk freely without water in my mouth. It's one time me participate in a politics of Jamaica, and it's when we campaign for and get PJ Pattison elected. Percival James Pattison, yeah. Him and Anthony Hilton out of St. Thomas. The first time PJ Pattison was going to the polls, I helped campaign. So, and none of them never do nothing for this youth. None of them. Whatever I have to work for it. So I am not afraid of calling out people. Because I don't know this thing, I have to make no friend. So Isaac Buchanan is in the news again, ladies and gentlemen. Isaac Buchanan. And I want you here. He's a member of parliament for East Portland. New member of parliament too. It look like them have foot and mouth disease.
I'm telling you something right now.
This is a member of parliament speaking. Listen keenly.
If you not look a man at the wrong page, you know that on. Wrong page you depend. Just I'm making you know that. At the wrong page, you mess with the wrong. Me no friend people. You're lucky if you can see me on the road and can talk to me. And serious, man, make it clear. See, if you not come from Portland Eastern, you don't even have to heal me. No, look, no friend from you. So don't come on my live and try to play on my live. Go look alive. May I talk something serious right now. Yeah? So don't come on my live with your nastiness, because I know you know some grems, not germs. A Rosalie make that word there. Grems. Some gremlins. And if you go look alive. Yeah? So nobody feel that you me in a parliament and feel that you me a lawyer. I'm not afraid for rub you out. The last time I rub out somebody, $500,000 them charge me. I may have to pay it. Don't make a rub you out. I make TikTok have to block me. Yeah? Jamaica I come from. You can't style me and you can't diss me. And why me not feel like me more than nobody. No more than me. So I'm making you know that. But I get back on what I say.
Yeah. That is what I'm talking about when we talk about decorum. Them people are not ready for this yet. And them people are the People's National Party having a politics, having a parliament. These are the kinds of people where they say them a politician. And them want to come talk to people and people picnic. What are they on? These are the kind of people, you know. These are lawmakers, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, lawmakers. If you don't understand what a politician's duty, the main duty is to make laws that govern the country. These are lawmakers. Them are people here. We have a represent way. And the sad part is, people in his commentary, yes, my boss, that's right there. One love, blessings. Or you mean, respect my boss. I saw the thing said, these are the people. What have we come to? What? Is this who we are? Is this where we are at? I'm used to politicians behaving badly in terms of, you know, the politics, but them kind of, ew, them kind of disgusting behavior. He's a politician, he's a talk like him a bad man, you know. This a politician, yeah. Well, I guess him a bad man because him got prison already. Got prison for drugs 2 times, you know. So, yeah. I mean, like, we can't make this thing up, you know. This is the man that we have in Parliament. He went to prison twice. And know him in a Parliament and you hear him comment. Listen.
Telling you something right now. You see, if you not look a man at the wrong page, you know, depend.
Isaac Buchanan, depend live, depend TikTok. And you know this? The funny thing is that they must send money. People are sending money. We don't know how well TikTok thing work. I'm in the party. People are sending money. I send Rose. Oh, go. Explain to me whatever. Almost time to get out of here. Let me see you who is in the chat. Sister Pat, how you doing? Sister Cherine. Sister Cherry and Green. Cherry. How you doing, Sister Cherry? Bless up yourself, man. New York City in the house. New York City in the building. Hey, Sister Camille Chin 1090. Hello. Hola, Mr. Vibes Master and my KVRN family. I mean, big up, yes. Big up. And Sister Cherry says she's on the job, but tuning in from Syracuse. That's a way upstate New York, you know. Syracuse. I hope they say that now, Sister Cherry. Wow. I see she say, it's the time goes. Oh, when I was talking about the oh, my word. When I was talking about the time, yeah, the time goes. The time goes, Sister Cherry. The time goes. Oh, Sister Camille say, me say I work with a doctor that is supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. Every day he comes in at 8:32 to 8:35. Then have the audacity to call to tell me he's running late. As if. That's so like me. That's so like me. But we're not really a half hour late still. I'm just about. I'm always between 5 to 7 minutes late. So yeah, 5 to 7 minutes late. If I'm 15 minutes late, Sister Camille says, stop talking about me. I love to be early. Yeah. But I'm not late, you know. I'm not normal because when I say 15 minutes is considered late. But like me, you know, me just like what? Yeah, just a few minutes. I mean, we can't live with that. 5. And as I say, I make it up back, so it's not like me a thief nobody time, you know. So I make it up back in the evenings. Not sure. Yeah, man, I make it up back at the end of the day. So I am always the last one to leave work anyway. You know? So hey, it is what it is. Yeah, anybody else? So 508-762-7621. 508-762-7621. What do you think about the decorum in politics? 508-762-7621, the WhatsApp line. The decorum in politics. Do you believe that it is? Well, you know, send me live on Facebook too. Hold on. I wonder if anybody is seeing me on Facebook. Let me see. Yeah, there is anybody here? I see. I see that. What do you call it? Major Anderson. Major General Anthony Anderson has been appointed. You know, I want to touch on something, ladies and gentlemen, before I go. I want to touch on something, is it? Now, Nara. This one is very, very. I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to touch on that for a couple of weeks now, but never got the chance. So now that I'm here, we know that the Jamaica was debating. The Parliament in Jamaica was debating Nara, and it was a very, very hot debate. The creation of Nara, and let me tell you something. It has now been passed into law. And it is, I love what happened. I love the fact that it was debated, it was passed into law, and the PNP did not support it. The PNP did not support it. So right now, and this is how I believe politics is supposed to run, you know. If you are elected to government, you are supposed to govern. You're supposed to make your policies, and you're supposed to stand by them. So if your policies are successful, you can run on your policies, and people will re-elect you. Now, if your policies that you implement fail, then hey, the opposition can say, "Me joking, me did tell you." So right now, ladies and gentlemen, Nara was passed into law. So I wrote a commentary a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to read it for you, what I wrote. I sat down and thought about the Nara bill, and I watched the debate back and forth, and this is my conclusion. This is what I came up with. One of the most politically strategic aspects of the passage of the Nara bill is that the governing party now owns the legislation completely and unequivocally. With every member of the parliamentary opposition, the People's National Party, voting against it, there is no shared political responsibility for the outcome, which is brilliant. I love it. That creates a very clear democratic line of accountability, my opinion. It was not a bipartisan bill at all. Good evening, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Chris. How are you?
I'm there, sister, but I'm there, my sister.
Oh, okay. Boy, I heard you're giving it to Parliament. You're giving it to Miss Burchell.
She need a whipping, man. she not be by herself.
Ooh, that lady, she's in a class all by herself.
I tell you, it's the new generation, Sister Pat. They believe that they have to make waves, and whatever it takes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And also that rogue man, boy, I heard him.
Mm-hmm. These are the kind of leaders that we have in Parliament. I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, Jamaica, it's little America. As America sneeze, they pick it up.
Mm.
We see what's happening in our house of in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
So they are basically kind of adapted to that kind of behavior and think that it's okay. It's normal. This is the new norm.
Yeah. Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
But a couple weeks ago, you did touch on the topic of Mama P, and they should name.
mm-hmm.
Um, is it a house? They should name something after her
Yeah,
because
they were talking
she
about
was the
the
first and only,
hospital.
yeah, female,
Mm-hmm.
female
Mm-hmm.
prime minister of Jamaica, and she did some good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in order to memorialize her, I believe that's what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
Have something in memory of her.
Yes.
Yeah, so the upcoming generation can be reminded,
Mm-hmm.
of the contribution that she has laid. She has been a trailblazer for women.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes,
Yeah.
she has represented this country when when she has done something that a lot of people did not expect to happen when it did. She became a force to reckon with. She was she mashed up the old boys club.
Oh yes, she
it
did. Oh
it was not
yes.
it was not an easy feat.
No, no.
And a lot of people may take it for granted, but it may not be for a next long time before we have another female step
Yes.
into that seat.
Right, and she did gain respect. Oh,
Oh
they were
yeah,
afraid of
oh
her.
yeah.
They,
I mean,
they
some
were.
people tried to put her down, but
Yes,
the legacy is the legacy, and it speaks for itself.
absolutely.
Remember that there were lots of them there before her, and she come and she just tip past
That's
them,
right.
you know. So
Okay.
respect due.
She,
Whether you like her or you not like her, respect is due. Put some respect on her
ab-
name.
absolutely. She
Mm.
reminds me of Margaret Thatcher,
Mm.
Prime Minister of England. She ruled with an iron fist.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Put some respect on the woman name, man. Name some stuff after her. I don't care. Name some stuff after
Yeah.
her, man. And somebody
Yeah.
Jamaica. You see, everything in Jamaica, it has this politics is just so
Mhm.
grotesque. Where
Yeah.
people they will literally tear you down for the politics. Nobody can really see beyond the green and the orange. And it is so disgusting.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm happy that you remember that I did talk
Oh yes, I remember
about that.
very vividly.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so now I'm happy to hear that the prime minister uh, will be naming the new
The
hospital in her
hospital
honor.
after
Yeah,
her.
and
Okay.
the Ministry of Labor building in I think it's North Street or somewhere there. They just named it after her too. They just opened that new building and just named
That's
it after
good.
her.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
and she
wonderful.
has the Portia Simpson Miller Square that so
Yeah.
there are a few things. She deserve it. She deserve it. She deserve it.
Yes. Yes.
She did
Where is
well.
she living right now? I don't think
She
she's in
is.
Jamaica.
She no. Yeah, she's in Jamaica, but she is according to the rumors she has dementia.
Oh
So
wow.
she's not, that's why you haven't seen her in the public. They are keeping her out of the public. Her
Okay.
husband said that he's very protective of her, and
Oh.
he only allow a small circle of people around her
Okay.
because yeah
Oh
he
wow.
doesn't
Brilliant
want.
mind and to see that
Hmm.
happen. Oh
Yeah, so that is why we haven't seen her since she left politics.
wow.
Yeah,
My
it is.
goodness.
Yeah, it is very very sad, but and I understand that disease because my mom struggled with it for years
Mhm.
before she passed.
Mhm.
It's a cruel
Oh yes, it is. Oh, we have
disease.
seen brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant minds,
Mm.
physicians, specialists.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yep.
Nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When it take you over, man, it bring you down to nothing.
Oh, and they still have not found out what's the cause. They're trying to come up with the different cures, but you cannot find a cure for something unless you have a cause.
Mm.
What is the cause? Yeah, there have been speculations that I know one of the biggest pet peeve is that people who use aluminum pots, they did some studies, but there is no definitive diagnosis as to what causes it.
Mm.
The only time they make that diagnosis is when the individual pass away. When they look at the brain, they see how tangled the nerves are. They're all like mush, you know, and that's why they become the individual who succumbed. Could not remember things. They would do some strange things. The behavior was of such. Boy.
Mm. All right, Sister Pat, thank you very much for calling. Got to wrap up now. I'm almost
You're
out of time.
welcome,
Appreciate it
definitely.
as
So you have
usual.
a good night
All
and a
right,
good
you too.
weekend.
All right, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Bye
God
bye.
bless you. Yeah, so let me just, I'm going to wrap up in a moment. But let me continue with this this op-ed here that I wrote. Let me start over. One of the most politically strategic aspects of the passage of the Naira bill is that the governing party now owns the legislation completely and unequivocally, with every member of the parliamentary opposition voting against the bill. There is no shared political responsibility for the outcome, and that creates a very clear democratic line of accountability. Now, if the legislation succeeds, whether through economic growth, national development, improved governance, or measurable benefits to Jamaicans, then the governing administration can legitimately campaign on it as a bold policy achievement that championed despite resistance. They championed despite resistance. They can argue that they showed leadership, conviction, and the willingness to take political risk in pursuit of what they believed was in the country's best interest. Now, on the other hand, if the bill fails, becomes ineffective, is poorly managed, or becomes tainted by corruption or controversy, the opposition is in a strong position politically because their opposition is now on record. The PNP can credibly say, "We warned the country from the beginning." That becomes a powerful campaign argument because there is no ambiguity about where either side stood. In many ways, this is how democracy is supposed to function. The government governs and takes responsibility for its policies, while the opposition scrutinizes challenges and positions itself as the alternative. There is no bipartisan fog surrounding the Naira bill. Jamaicans will now be able to judge the legislation based on results rather than political spin and assign either praise or blame accordingly. Politically, the stakes are now very high for the JLP because this legislation becomes part of its governing legacy. Success strengthens their credibility. Failure strengthens the opposition's narrative. Either way, the Jamaican people will ultimately decide which side exercised the better judgment. Yes. The ball is now rolling. And that's my take on it. That is how government is supposed to work. I think, that is how government is supposed to work. Because there shouldn't be any ambiguity. You should know where each person stands. So now the opposition is on record saying we are against this bill. Prime Minister and him party ram it through, get it done. So now them have to make sure say everything is on the line now, so them have to make sure say it succeed. Because if it not succeed, Dog nyam them supper. As me, I go nyam my supper right now. So time for me to pack up my bunga and get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate you as usual. And yeah, it's time for me to go walk the dog. My name is Chris Wilby, and this has been the Hot Topics on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, Fit FM 96.7, and Linkage Radio. I will catch you next week, same time, same place, but we'll do it all over again. In the meantime, take care of your beautiful selves. And as Miss Lou would I say, wow, good.